Okay, Robbie Smart, thank you for coming to interview with us. We appreciate it.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then what is this? Is this our 13th episode, Lisa? We're episode number 13 of the Disturbed Oasis podcast. We've done a nice pre-interview, so I think I just want to kind of get into it. Now, you're actually the first sitting Board of Supervisors member who is not currently running for re-election, who's come to speak with us, so we appreciate you for that. And you represent which election district?
Election District 5.
Okay, now tell us, our viewers, what geographic area does that represent?
It's somewhat difficult, but basically from the southern end of Main Street in South Boston, all the way back to Stanton River State Park, just a few miles north of the Dan River on the south side, and bumping up to Larry's district of the Clover area, but kind of the northern edge of Scottsburg, that big, almost a triangle, if you will, from South Boston to Stanton River State Park, and includes towns of Scottsburg, and includes communities of like Portland Estates, Highland Hills, also. So it's 60% of my constituents are in the town of South Boston.
Okay, and you first ran for that position in 2023, or
correct?
This most recent time. You also served in the Board of Supervisors from 1996 to 2000.
Correct.
Was that also representing District 5?
No, it was District 8 at that time, and it was part of my district now was they've redistricted, but
okay.
It was primarily the town of South Boston then. I was the first representative of the area in the town. That was right after they had gone through the big reversion from city to town brouhaha.
Okay, so it was what, like an annexation?
Well, it was they renounced their citizen. They became a town. It was the first in the state to do that.
To become an independent town.
But, well, they were an independent city. They became a dependent town.
A dependent town, got it. Okay, wonderful. But they still have their own town council.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've been engaging a lot with online media here locally, and you've been emphasizing transparency.
Correct.
Why do you feel this is important at this time? What do you have to say about the topic?
It's not our government on the board. It's the people. It's your money we're directing. You have a right to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. Mm-hmm. And so we need to get the message out. So if a reporter calls me, I say yes. You know, you guys call, I say yes. And I hope to do some town halls for people to come in and ask questions.
Okay.
I think we need to do a better job, even on the board. Even if it's unanimous, we should say why we're doing whatever it is we just did.
Are you going to do your town halls inside of your district, or you?
Probably. I'm not going to restrict it. Anybody that wants to come is welcome to come, but trying to figure out a location right now.
So you don't have one currently scheduled?
No.
Ideally, how often do you plan to do that?
I'm guessing every 6 months.
Every 6 months?
Depends on what's happening on the board. Right now, it should probably be more often with all the controversies. But if things fall into a good groove, once every 6 months, maybe.
Okay.
Depends on how many people come to the ones we have.
Right. And you've mentioned wanting to see the business meetings live streamed. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. There are, I don't want to be at these meetings half the time, so I can't imagine everybody else wanting to be there, but it surely would, I believe we would have that, get more people participating if they could sit in the comfort of their home and watch what's going on. Mm-hmm. And in this day and age, I don't know why we can't do that or shouldn't do that. School board's doing it. The IDA just decided to do it. Counties around us are doing it. Mm-hmm. And I sent I had it put on the agenda in February, and it was taken off.
Okay.
The agenda before we discussed it. I sent an email to Mr. Claiborne to get it back on the agenda, and he told me he would not do it, and because he felt like it would be misused. I'm not sure how it's going to be misused, but and since this past meeting, I asked that it be put on the agenda for the next meeting.
And did you get another note?
He said he was going to put it on the agenda, so we'll see come October.
We had another interviewee say that he feels that things are headed in the right direction on that. Is that what he was referring to?
Yeah, because there's been a lot of public outcry to do that.
Okay.
And so I feel like that's the only thing that seems to really motivate, which I guess that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of outcry can motivate this board to undo some of the things that.
And it sounds like common that's happened with several issues. There's public outcry and it gets walked back or whatever. You mentioned two things about getting the public, who we're talking to right now, more engaged. One would be live streaming, another would be town halls. Do you have any other ideas to draw the people watching right here now out?
Just on the board meetings themselves, whether they're there in person or live streaming, we, the board, need to be more, a little more verbose. I say that carefully, describing what we did and why we did it.
What do you mean by that?
I'm trying to think about it.
Why am I paying more money on my X, Y, or Z?
And where does the solar money go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's an easy answer. You know, the real estate money goes into the real estate taxes, like all the rest of it. The other tax money from machinery and tools or profit sharing, it goes into that line item. You know, we don't really put it in a separate bucket. The upfront funding fees we get from solar, they go in a special bucket. That's the only one that really goes in a special bucket because it's not automatically have a spot to be spent. You know,
so all the money generated by solar is earmarked.
Not all of it.
For specific reasons.
The solar siting agreement money is earmarked, but the rest of it is rolled in through the taxes. It's just reducing your tax rate. And somebody says, when was it reduced? Well, it didn't go up. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And what else? You've mentioned you thinking that the people need to know more about solar in general. What else would you like to educate the public about?
Number one, nobody is advocating that we cover the entire county in solar panels. What we're looking at, what at least myself and some of the members are looking at, is that, you know, we're at 1% now. People want to throw around big numbers. It's a big county. It's a little over 1%.
Mm-hmm.
It's bringing in about $2 million annually, plus the solar siting agreement money total. So if we double that, that would be $4 million, and that would be roughly almost 8-cent property tax equivalent. So, and then I think we'd be done. You know, I think 2.5% would be plenty. We're done. We don't want to be covered up.
Right.
But and that number would probably fund EMTs for the county or some of the additional things we're looking at having to fund in the future. But then we'd be done. So nobody's trying to. And there's very little danger to solar. There's a lot of misinformation. The only negative solar is people don't like the view of it. There's things about poisoning the ground. There's no truth to that I can find whatsoever anywhere. I mean, the materials these solar panels are made of are very basic. But we still drill wells to prove that they're not, contaminating the water. So the only two negatives: one, site. So we're working hard with our setbacks and buffers to prevent that. Two, property values. It does look like small properties do devalue in the first 3 to 5 years, or 1 to 5 years. After that, they recover. So maybe that's up to the company to help anybody that's selling during that period. So address those two issues and allow this to help us. People say that solar panels don't work. They do work. As an engineer, I'm going to tell you that it would be better if we also had batteries. That would smooth it out. You know, that's the way the space station works. Been doing that for 30 years now. It's the only power source. So when you look at all the facts, and then I don't want to negate landowner rights. Who are we to tell their neighbor that so long as he's not impinging on you, that he can't do with his land what he wants to?
Sounds like a great topic for a town hall to educate people on.
It is.
And you said you guys have done water quality studies and found that the solar panels are not impacting the local water supply.
We haven't done one, but we've done lots of studies about individual. We've never had a well test anything negative from a solar panel.
Okay. So,
but I'm going to caveat that we don't have we've only got 3 or 4 years experience here.
Okay.
But you can go look at, Virginia Tech did a study that was based over 20 years of stuff, 0 contaminants. And that not only include the silicon panels that we primarily use in Halifax County, but the cadmium telluride panels, which everybody goes, ooh, but they're not bad either.
Okay.
It's kind of like this cup,
Well, that cup's pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want the materials in this cup to be that are made to make this cup to be in the water supply.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah. But I'll drink out of it. Shouldn't?
I mean, that's your call.
Yeah, but if you went and tested this water, you'll test nothing in it.
Well, I don't know. They're talking about PFAS and stuff.
Yeah, and so, but I'm talking about the chemical nature. I mean, you wouldn't. Let's change this up. Let's talk about the water in the cup. Okay. The chemical for water is H2O.
Yes.
Hydrogen and two hydrogen, 1 oxygen. If you have a fire, would you put hydrogen on it?
No.
Why? It's a fuel. It's gonna burn.
Right.
Would you put oxygen on it? No. It's an accelerant. It would make it burn brighter.
Right.
But if you combine the two and make water, it'll put the fire out.
Does this relate to any question we've asked so far?
Yes. It relates to cadmium telluride. And this, they think cadmium is horrible. Telluride's bad. But when you combine the two, they're substances.
Oh, okay.
Just like the water.
So in other words,
safety of solar is what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's not contaminated. Okay, great. Now, Now you are retired.
Yes, retired Air Force, retired Civil Service.
And you have an engineering background.
Yes.
What do you do anything at all now? You say you work maybe once a month. Did you say?
What's that?
No, you volunteer once a month. Do you work at all now, or do you volunteer? What do you do in the community outside of the Board of Supervisors?
I am the president of the Good Samaritan, which is a food bank / clothing organization. I'm on the board for Feed Halifax, which is a new organization. I think that's it right now, other than I have 8 grandkids.
Oh, well, that sounds like it might keep you busy.
And put out lots of fires for the board.
Here lately, it's been a huge amount of research. I'm not one that can answer without looking it up first.
Got it. Okay, so you said you had a vision for the county when you first ran, I guess this most recent time back in 2023. Since you've been in office, has your vision changed?
Yes.
Can you tell us how?
Originally, and I haven't forgotten it. I'm concerned about us not having a warming center or center when severe weather happens and it's not many, 10 or 20 or so homeless that are in the county.
Okay.
But we used to, we don't have, we need it back. Second is no order of precedent was then, still is now, recreation. Very little recreation for our residents. We need to bring people back. Edmonds Park's a bright spot, things we need to do.
Okay.
But continuing to answer the question, workforce housing being housing that's affordable for people working. That was one then, is now. Fire departments, funding for them is now. But I guess, and childcare, which I haven't mentioned that in the past, but I'm told now, and I understand. So my 3 priorities now are workforce housing, childcare, and recreation.
Okay.
But I haven't forgotten warming center. I think we're going to jump on that soon, but because of the attachment announcements, we really need to get on the stick about those 3: childcare.
How would you begin approaching that? Would you form a committee for each one to do some research first, or how do you approach it?
With the childcare, IDA is heading up a group that's looking at mimicking or duplicating a 501c3 organization coming here and opening up a similar center that we can do things by being a 501c3 and giving them tax incentives that they can open up affordable childcare. We need people to help do that. After our conversation earlier, I'm just thinking that you're one of them that needs to be involved in that conversation, if not actually involved in running the whole thing.
I don't know about that, but
we'll talk about that later. And so that's childcare. For the workforce housing, people know we recently got 10 acres given to us by a solar farm, okay? We didn't buy it. that we're going to give to a developer once we find one. We're not giving it to Hitachi, and we're trying to give them incentives so that they can keep the cost of that housing, whether it's rentals or sales, in a range that people working at Hitachi or Hyperion or any number of these places, based on their range of incomes, they can afford these houses.
Mm-hmm.
We can't sell them a $500,000 house if we can only afford a $200,000. So it's got to, and the developer is going to have to agree to that. That's why we're giving them incentives to reduce the cost. We're going to give them the land, going to help them with the roads and the water and sewer utilities and the costs. And we're hoping that maybe the Hitachis and the Hyperion X's, they'll also help get those.
Fit the bill.
Fit the bill. We did that once before. They call them Carter Fabrics in West End 100 years ago. But
so this has happened before in the county.
Yes.
They help to do. Companies help to fund housing.
They
projects.
built it.
They built it. Okay.
And so this is a little different. We're doing it, but we're hoping to help.
Okay. All right. All right. I was going to move on unless there's something else you want to tell us about the housing project.
No, that's
Okay.
we got to get going.
We have to get it going.
You will see come before the board. We need to change our densities. Right now, it doesn't pencil out to whether the developer can. He's got to make a little bit of money because we only allow so many people per acre or per whatever the number is.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to change that to where he can get enough units in to where it will pencil out and they make money and keep it in the price range.
So you guys have a developer in mind?
We have an RFP out looking for one.
Oh, okay. So because you said the developer, so is there one that's primary you're thinking? Okay.
No, I'm not involved in that selection process, but
And who determines density?
we, the board.
Okay.
And I'm going to caveat that to the limit of what the state will allow us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Remember, we're a Dillon state. We can only do what we're allowed to do.
Right.
From the state level. Okay. All right. So your colleague, Larry Roller, interviewed with us on Tuesday, and he suggested that one of the controversial decisions that the board made earlier this year related to giving you all a raise, which was then of $5,000 per year, which was then reversed, I guess, the next month right after that. He suggested that came about as a quid pro quo to get Supervisor Hubert Purnell on board with supporting a solar project.
On board with voting against the solar project.
Voting against the solar project. Now, do you see it as, is that what happened?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us more about that?
I mean, months before the budgeting process, Hubert had mentioned to us about he thought we were working a whole lot and that we needed a raise.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of went away, and all of a sudden, boom, it comes back one night, and they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the original motion was for $7,000, and it was done by Pete Riddle, who was the anti-solar guy who wanted to stop that solar program, and he made the motion for the raise, and Mr. Purnell changed his vote
from supporting the solar panel to going against it.
He even talked about the need to change, in reference to he even talked about sometimes you change your mind.
Oh, so he mentioned changing his mind. He didn't say why he changed his mind.
No.
But you and Mr. Roller both agree that
no doubt.
It seems that he changed his mind as a quid pro quo in exchange for getting the raise that he had already said he wanted. And
Pete Riddle got elected as a Republican, supposedly conservative. We were fiscally conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wanting to vote a raise. I mean, we just got one 2 years ago in January 2020.
And what percentage of a jump was that? Wasn't it like 100 and something?
40%. Well, that would have been like a 40, I can't remember the note. 7 versus, it would have been like a 35, 40%. But if you'd gone back 2 years ago when we'd just gotten,
right,
it'd been like 137% in 2 years.
Right.
Mm.
And we shouldn't be doing this for the money. This should be, I don't get paid for my work as president of Good Samaritan. Maybe you have to pay some to get people interested, but it shouldn't be about that. And I might add, I said I wouldn't take it and I had every intention. Actually, I probably would have reneged. I would have taken it or had them donate it to a charity of my choice, but I would not have personally taken it.
taking the money, the salary.
The raise.
I wouldn't want them to take the money I would have gotten and spend it on something else. So I would at least see that it was spent on maybe a homeless shelter. Anyway.
Okay. So all that came about, it was the big reverse course, it was a big controversy. All that came about because of a quid pro quo.
Oh, absolutely.
But it got walked back because of public outcry.
Yeah. Do
Pete
you
won.
agree with that?
Yeah. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it got walked back because of the public outcry.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good on the public for getting involved.
Yeah. Okay, so there's obvious that there's a dynamic of factionalism that has happened on the board. There's the group of 5, and then I guess you would be part of the group of 3, the minority faction. We were interested in your thoughts on the dynamic of the factions, of the groups, of the cliques. We might say you wanted a simpler word, so we might say cliques. Will this election change the dynamics moving forward? Of course, we know Stanley Brandon has already withdrawn from the race. Will that automatically change the dynamic? And then anything you want to comment about factionalism and how it's affecting the county?
Yeah, it's definitely there. Definitely affect the county. The election will change it. We know it will. At least one member will change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to see any, we shouldn't align to where you see, we just talked about, a quid pro quo amongst the 5.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that a lot in the last year. And I actually started.
It's happened more than once.
Oh, and that's how Claiborne became chairman. I mean, he was.
Claiborne became chairman through a quid pro quo?
Oh, no, because of the 5.
Okay.
Oh, well, that was part of it. I mean, I don't know all the details, one part of it, but if you do these things for us, we'll make you chairman. I mean,
oh, wow.
I mean, he's spent 20 years trying to be chairman.
Yeah.
Nobody would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, boom, we do things like we fire 2 animal control officers, which certain member wanted done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm trying to think. And then Claiborne, we dismantled the advisory, tried to dismantle the advisory, the South Planning, I'm forgetting the name, the Planning Commission that Dr. Adams was heading up.
Mm-hmm.
Just boom, 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 we do things, and Claiborne became chairman.
Okay, so Mr. Claiborne became chairman by promising certain things to certain board members.
And I don't know all the details, but just say no to solar. And that's what Keith and Pete got, and then Keith got the animal control officers fired, and I mean lots of things like that didn't make any sense. And we had the solar moratorium, which we had for 6 months, and didn't do anything. Took the moratorium off, didn't change a single thing. Yeah, excuse me. I think we did, and changed the buffer from 100 to 150 feet. And we changed from 5% down to 3%. We offered that was on the table before they ever started. So.
Okay, so the factionalism sort of, it all goes back to. It's not like this was a pre-formed group. It was that there were people, let's say Mr. Claiborne wanted to be the chairman. He recruited support by making what you're saying, concessions and promises to each individual.
He tried to early on, but didn't offer anything because I still got the email when he wanted to be chairman the first year I was on the board. And he sent me, I think I'm due. So it was his turn. Now, some people kind of put a lot of the onus on Mr. Claiborne himself. Is that your mode of thinking, or do you think that the group itself is sort of the majority of the onus is Mr. Claiborne?
Why do you say that?
Because he's leading the group.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything ugly, and then he's got Keith and Pete. I mean, you can see it. You can see Mr. Claiborne turn to Keith and talk to him when there's a discussion on controversy. I can remember Keith wanted a 9% employee raise because I don't know what he was trying to do. Not this past budget, something before. Mr. Claiborne turned to him and talks him out of it.
For all employees in the county, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was just the way he was figuring the numbers. That's the only example I think of, but you can see him turn to him and talk to him.
How is the factionalism affecting the business of the county in general?
Well, we don't have a county administrator. We got one lady trying to do both jobs and work for Sussex County. So, I don't know who our 4-year officer is. Well, yeah, I do. I guess it's Jason Johnson. But those have slowed down, and we've got multi-million-dollar projects that are hopefully not in jeopardy going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big concern.
Why are FOIA processing slowing down? Why is that slowing down?
Well, my understanding was the only two trained FOIA officers we had were Stephanie Jackson and Mr. Simpson.
And they're gone now.
They're gone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the group of five is affecting those dynamics. So you think the election, so there are several ways that this could play out. Mr. Gordon and Mr. Thompson are running for Mr. Brandon's spot. We know that Mr. Brandon has already backed out of the race. And then you have another race, Mr. Purnell is up against Jeff Oakes. Mm-hmm. So this could go in terms of like, I personally don't have any information about Gordon versus Thompson. Gordon told us that he was going to stay independent and not join a faction. And Mr. Thompson seems to loosely align with you and Mr. Roller and Mr. Witt, but didn't declare himself to be like on your team or anything like that. So we kind of know, is this going to become a 4 versus 4 thing, or is it going to be 4 versus 3 with someone being independent? Let's say Mr. Hubert Purnell wins his seat, and then you have either Thompson or Gordon filling Mr. Brandon's seat. Is that become a stalemate?
I mean, it could, but I don't want any member. I don't want any groups. I want each decision. And people ask me about who I want to win. I want the individual that'll stand up. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but you need to make your decision. Yeah, you can ask for help. Help me understand this. But don't make that decision. Make that decision off of your district and your morals and and then in the end, we'll come to a decision of what's best for the county. And I'm not saying don't talk. You talk through stuff, but that we need to do publicly. Don't do it in back rooms. If you're going to discuss something, do it in front of the public. I mean, I don't care if you hurt my feelings. Even this Monday night meeting, we need to discuss before we go into executive session what we are doing. If you can't just say we're going to executive session. What are we doing? You can't just say personnel. Are we going to review the resumes for county ministers? Say that's what you're doing, and then give me the opportunity to suggest that we do something different. And let the public see the dynamics of that.
So you would, and we'll circle back to that meeting toward the end of the interview. So you're saying that it would be better off if there were no more factions, if everybody could be able to work together. Practically speaking, how is that feasible? Like is that a realistic goal given the personalities that are currently on the board?
We only need to change one member to make that happen.
Oh, just Mr. Claiborne.
Well, no, any one member, that'll take away the 5-4, and if it ends up, that'll take away, and the 4 can vote, but if the other 4 vote differently,
you have a tiebreaker vote.
Yeah, you do have a tiebreaker. Is he part of the one faction or the other?
No, he's an independent thing.
He's independent. Okay, so regardless, no matter what, because Mr. Brandon has dropped out of the race, it sounds like
there's going to be a change.
The factions are going to change no matter what, to where we won't have a dominant faction.
I don't believe we will. I mean, the possibility's there, but I don't believe we will.
You don't believe that. You don't believe that you will. And then if
please vote in November.
Well, yes, we're trying to figure out how to help motivate people too. Very good question. Yeah.
Yes, and then the other scenario, if Mr. Purnell loses his race, would then there be a faction that you would be a part of the dominant faction at that point?
I don't want to call us the dominant faction. I want to set the precedent. You mentioned that we consider everybody's point of view, but we do it openly.
Right.
If there's the 5 is now 3 or 4, we listen to everything they're saying and make a public. Some folks have been marginalized, like we mentioned the committees list. Make sure we don't do that. We don't. Right. We don't do like the Republican Democrat. Well, you did this to us. We're gonna do. Get away from that.
No retaliation.
No retaliation.
You sound like you want a team build a team.
I'd like to see us to do it off. I came from the military. They do. I flew a B-52 cockpit resource management team building. We need to do an offsite, do a team building exercise.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Now let me just pin you down on some stuff here. So you're saying if come January, if you find yourself from being a minority faction of 3 to a dominant faction of, let's say, between 4 and 5, you would not operate as the current dominant faction is. You would be interested in team building and deconstructing the faction so that everybody could work together better.
If I had my say, the committees will be done based on abilities and spreading of the workload.
Mm-hmm.
The seating, even my seat was a political thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really? How so?
Actually, it ended up not changing. We were supposed to sit based on the number,
Mm-hmm.
but Mr. Cleveland wanted me on the very end. I almost got up and moved over there, but I waited for him to tell me. But do away with that. We'll put them in the order that they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, because Mr. Whit wanted to sit at the other end, it only would have moved one seat. But
Mm-hmm.
it was obvious but do away with that. Do the committees and make sure we recognize everybody's voice in the meeting and do so in an open forum. That might hurt their feelings a little bit, but if the only thing I would change if I saw eye to eye with the majority
Mm-hmm.
was we would be open about our discussions. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
If you don't agree, why? If you abstain, why?
Yeah.
So more of these discussions that they put into closed session quite a lot.
Yeah. See.
So you think more of those closed sessions should be in the public?
Yes. I think. The only thing closed section you really like, and if you go look at the code, it doesn't say you shall. It says you may discuss certain things.
Correct.
So we need to take everything we can, and if it's the question ought to be is in the interest of the public to hear this.
Okay. So for specific examples, like perhaps recently they've gone into closed session to discuss the firing of Scott Simpson. Recently they've gone into closed session to discuss the hiring of Tamika Morgan for her double job.
Yeah.
You think are those two examples, specific examples that you think would have been better served by having happen in public life?
Yeah. Now there are things I understand if you want to discuss a contract negotiation with the dollars, and there's a if there's a competitor, then yeah, that should have been closed session.
Right.
There was no competitor.
Right.
So how would it have hurt her if we discussed it in open session?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have. There was no competition.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody in the audience who was a CPA would have jumped up and said, wait, I'll do it for half that.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been a good thing. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're protecting something in a negotiation, Hitachi was Project 26.
Mm-hmm.
They were deaf. We didn't want anybody talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about it in closed session.
Mm-hmm.
Worst kept secret there.
Because they could have compromised the negotiation.
Could have compromised the negotiation. I
Okay.
got that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to reprimand a person, this is back to Scott Simpson, but I want to ask him, this is pretty important. Do you mind we talk about this in open session? Because if you're going to make an accusation, make it in open session.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets to the point where if it somehow changes things,
Mm-hmm.
but I never saw an accusation, and they didn't make any. I'm not supposed to talk about closed session. There was no accusation made. There was no reason given for firing Scott Simpson.
Right. So in other words, it sounds like that they're not violating any laws by doing a lot of this in closed session, but you're more speaking to an attitude of transparency, and because they also are under no requirement to do all this in closed session, that the fact that they always go to that closed session shows a lack of an attitude of transparency that you think is problematic.
Yeah, I wanted them to be mad at us because we talked about something we shouldn't have.
Not because you did something behind a veil.
So I believe it does get used as a veil.
So you've already spoken about moving forward. How do we move forward from this factionalism dynamic? And you mentioned off-site team building. Do you care to elaborate more on that, or give any other ideas of how the board can move beyond factionalism?
Yeah, I'd like to I want to do it in the county. Don't want to spend a lot of money, so we call Connie Nahom out of VIR and go, hey, is that big meeting room in the top of that mansion available? Can we use it? Tell us what days it's available and we'll fill an open spot.
Yeah.
And, let's go out there. I'm not saying spend the night, but go out there from 8 to 5 or whatever for a couple of 2-3 days. We did this when I was on the board the last time. It's an excellent tool.
Oh, yeah, we used to do it at the higher ed center.
And we did it in the Air Force. We had 6 members on a crew, and they called it cockpit resource management. And they put us in a room and said, and give us a really difficult problem. Said, y'all go in there and fight till you come out friends.
Is that the plan locally?
That would be my plan. And, I mean, some of these, they seem stupid, but some of these team building exercises,
They're great.
They literally are.
Yeah.
We're gonna light a fire.
Yeah.
And we're gonna leave. When you guys get to put out, you come out. You know?
Is this a metaphorical fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I said that, but then you could put an air realism to it. You know. I mean, let's talk about solar. Let's talk about whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be.
But not literalism.
Yeah.
We're talking about a fire.
Yeah,
I don't want anyone to get injured. So,
yeah, no, we don't want to hurt anybody.
There are members of the board who are like elderly, you know.
I'm one of them.
Isn't that all?
So we wouldn't want there to be literal fires. But okay, so I mean, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's an innovative idea that we haven't heard anyone else say yet.
That's right, and it's promoting internal change that's healthy.
Yeah, changing the internal culture. I think a lot of people would like that, and frankly, you know, sometimes the factionalism maybe comes off as like immature. You know what I mean? It might kind of make the whole county look bad. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
Okay. Do you want to speak to that?
No, I mean, it's just no secret. I called up Baco to ask him a question.
Yeah,
we've been watching you guys down there. They ain't looking very good.
So,
I mean, that's what, you know, I'm calling somebody Roanoke, and that's the opening line.
I'm hearing stuff like that too from outside, from people who are close enough to know who we are, you know, but not inside the area. So I'm hearing that too.
Yeah. So, which is kind of scary when we're looking to hire an administrator.
Well, or even attract industry, you know, like people don't want to come into a situation that's volatile.
Well,
correct.
Project 26 was what Hitachi was. It came to fruition. I worried about that. We had another project. I don't remember the number that was going into the fairgrounds. Disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know why. I mean, they gave us a reason, but who really knows why?
Mm-hmm. Now, we've heard some people on the board say that it seems like a lot of emotional decisions are being made. Do you agree with that statement?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us
example?
more.
Yes.
Well, tell us more about that. What do you see as an emotional decision?
If it's emotional or political, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you remember, we had a moratorium on solar.
You said for 6 months.
6 months.
Okay.
Well, they just said a moratorium. They didn't give a date.
Okay.
Out of the blue, one day they said, you know what? There was a company that was, their next step was to come before the board. So we're going to undo this moratorium to let this company come forward because it was the only right thing to do. Sounds
Who
good.
is this saying this?
This was Ms. Clavin or the five.
Okay.
And we were like, yeah, we agree. Let them come forward. They came forward, but it was in Larry's district. You know, and it was a small one. And they met all of the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And there was you could not see, you would not have been able to see it from the road or from any other property line. It was completely hid.
Mm-hmm.
And they voted no. So
The
we
board
brought it back to turn it down. And that was a no doubt, and Larry will tell you this if you ask him, that was a hit from him from the five from not supporting, you know.
Not supporting what?
Them, you know.
So this was a punishment. They denied a solar farm, which he had said over, 40% of the solar farms that are in his
already in his district. This was a small. So it was actually too small, 4 megawatt, 5 megawatts going together.
Mm-hmm. So 2 small 5 megawatts combined.
No, it was 10 total. With
10 megawatts combined. Not visible and not visible from either property
and below the
or,
percentages they were concerned about. So.
Right, and so the idea is that this was shot down to punish Mr. Roller for not going along with their agenda or something like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, now, so,
me. I've been pushing the idea of getting the pool open at Sand River. I have a letter that I've written to Delegate Wright and outlining things we could do to help them based on issues, you know, things like, well, they can't find lifeguards. Well, we can go to the Y. We can get them to start a school, you know, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And I had tried to address all the concerns. So Stan River Tammy Mulcahy wanted to have a meeting and talk to the people about that. Mm-hmm. Mr. Clever didn't invite me. It's in my district.
Oh, wow.
They told him to invite Tammy, wanted to keep it small, or somebody wanted to keep it small. They said, yourself as the chairman and one other. He called, I happen to know, he called Dennis, who's District 4, which I did. And Dennis said, you should be calling. He told me, it's in my district.
Dennis quit.
Yeah, he told me he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. Now, would it have made a big difference? I can't say they would have, but at least I had a leg up on answering some of their questions. Yeah.
So that's another example of an emotional decision.
Yeah, he did it because I'm the bad guy in Mr. Clayton's eyes.
And this connects to part two of the question, which is there have been insinuations that you and Mr. Roller and Mr. Witt are left out of the loop. We can see maybe some evidence of that with committee assignments. Would you care to speak to that? Are you being left out of the loop?
Absolutely, since Mr.
Claiborne?
Mr. Simpson was fired.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know who to call over there to find out what's going on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to, you know, I sent an email to Miss Morgan about one of my constituents was owed some money.
Yeah.
I don't know who to talk to about that, you know.
What did she say?
No response yet.
No response.
But she's been out of the country for the past week, and
Wait, she went on vacation?
yes.
Okay.
We knew that though. It was in the original contract that she was. That's the other thing. $25,500 a month for the whole month of September, October, and November. But oh yeah, she's on vacation for a week in 2 of the months.
Which other month?
October.
So she'll only be working 6 days in September and 6 days in October?
Truth in lending, she says she'll work some from home. But there are 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But she's working 24 hours a week with Sussex County.
Are they paying her more or less than we are?
They're paying her far less, $175 an hour.
Wait. So
they pay her by the hour.
They pay her, and it sounds like over $100 less per hour than we pay her. Is that true?
Probably.
So wait. So Sussex County is paying her less per month, and is she doing 1 or 2 jobs for Sussex County?
Just 1.
So she's doing just 1 job for Sussex County, where
24 hours a week is what their contract says.
And she's working 24 hours a week for them. She's working 16 hours a week plus maybe some home work for Halifax County to do 2 jobs, and it's getting paid way more.
Yes. And nowhere in the contract, our contract, does it say the number of hours. I will give you these contracts if you want to back it up. But because they're public information.
Yeah.
It just says she will work 2 days a week in this county. Doesn't say what that is. Just says she will physically be in this county. She could come in 10 and leave at 2, as far as that contract's concerned. I'm not saying she would do that.
Or take a long lunch break.
It doesn't say how many hours anywhere in there.
Well, it just sounds like we're getting a much worse deal than Sussex.
Yeah, my opinion, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this.
Oh, please do.
She didn't want to come here. I mean, she came here originally, and I can show the track record. You know, she came here in March, April, whenever it was, $175 an hour. Same rate Sussex paying her now.
Mm-hmm.
And there was concern. My concern was because Claiborne and Miss Claiborne and Mr. Riddle were giving her advice. She's supposed to work for the county administrator. All employees are. And you funnel everything from the board through him. She was getting direct input. It was confusing her. If you look at her letter when she resigned, she said, I'm having difficulty reconciling something like that between the county and Mr. Simpson. Well, who's the county? You know, what do you mean? Because that was the input. Anyway, she originally she decided to go to $225 an hour. I thought that was her cry, going, if you're gonna make me put up with this stuff, you need to pay me more. Okay. Interestingly enough, her contract with Sussex was signed July 21st at $175, and then she tells us within a few days of that it's $225 to work for us, and we said yes. And then she says she still quits a few days later. And then Simpson gets fired, and it takes 3 weeks of negotiation to get her to come back. And then what happened was they were upping the number till they hit a number that she would come back.
Well, it seems like Scott.
I don't blame her.
Well, yeah, I mean, get whatever deal she can get. Yeah, why not? So it seems like Scott Simpson was fired hastily and then controversially replaced by Miss Morgan. Why was Scott Simpson fired hastily in the manner that they fired him?
I think, I mean, it's speculation on my point. Why they've been wanting to fire him since it's obvious since last October. There is no definitive reason. I mean, there's rumors all over the place, and I'll talk about any one of them you want to talk about, but none of them I've researched at length. had any validity.
Why since last October?
I don't. That's just when it.
Why? Okay, yeah.
That's just when became
obvious.
There wasn't a specific event in October.
No.
Okay.
I have FOIA texts between Scott and Mr. Claiborne, and it's obvious in those texts that he talks to him like a child almost, and he's very.
Who talks to who like a child?
Claiborne talks to
Scott Simpson like a child.
and you can see when he's. I can't believe he did that. That's insubordinate. Then the next week it's, oh, you're doing a good job, but whatever.
Then those text messages come back to October of last year.
Oh, I've got text. I got 4 years worth. I went back and did another for you.
Okay.
I can show you the pattern.
Okay. What? How did you know as of last October that the board had turned in that direction? What were the clues?
Just Scott will tell you. It's the way it would change. It would get really bad, and I'd call Scott every week. How are things? And I don't know when. At some point, he cleaned his office out because he was like, "They're gonna fire me," just based on the conversations and the text he was getting, the tone. And then we'd get better. The text would change. Oh, you're doing a good job. And okay. I used to joke with Scott. We got every meeting. We got through another meeting. Because we get sprung. The firing of the 2 animal control officers was sprung on us. No mention. And there would be other things. I'm trying to. The solar moratorium sprung on us. Nobody talked about that. Just the 5 came out and said we're going to do this. The pay raise sprung on us. There were just so many things that just.
Would you get this in your pre-board meeting packet? Is that how you get that information?
Supposed to, but nothing would be mentioned. With Scott, it was said we're going to go into executive session and discuss personnel. I think that's a violation of state code, at least in spirit. It should say we're going to go into executive session to discuss county administrators' performance. Nothing wrong with that.
Because it wasn't a personnel matter; it was discussing whether or not to fire.
That's a personnel, but but I think you can't just say we're going to discuss personnel. What personnel are you going to discuss? So we're going to discuss, the performance of what individual or.
So you think, as the state law is currently written, they're supposed to name the position?
Well, at least give you enough details, you know what you're talking about.
Okay, so
they're
keeping it too vague.
Yeah, if I say I'm going into executive session to discuss personnel.
And then you walk in and you're like, what? What's this?
What is this for?
Right.
And they're like.
Well, at the very least, you should know, being that you're on the board.
Exactly. And I don't.
And there's been a lot of lack of transparent behavior where this situation has repeated.
Yeah, pretty much.
Across many controversial issues.
Yeah, well, I mentioned a few, the animal control officers, Scott, pay raise,
solar farm, the solar vote.
Solar votes.
Who actually did? There was the other issue that you brought up. Who actually did the negotiations for Miss Morgan's salary?
Mr. Claiborne.
So
he came to us in executive session, and he would ask for ranges.
And you guys gave him ranges?
Yeah, I guess I'm not supposed to say that was executive session, but that's what.
Oh, that was a closed session.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to say. Well, maybe you're not allowed to answer this either, but if you guys did give them ranges, was $25,500 per month within that range? You shouldn't answer.
I shouldn't answer.
Okay. Okay. And so you explained her salary. I had a question. How do you explain her salary? Let's say what you had mentioned another thing before the solar. What was the other issue he had mentioned? Oh, the lawsuit. Do you have thoughts on the lawsuit of the 2 animal control people who were?
We talked about that. Yeah, he mentioned that. Didn't you mention that?
He mentioned it, but
I'm not on camera.
Oh, okay.
You just
could be.
On camera. You did allude to it. Did you have anything else to say about it?
No.
Okay. Nothing else.
And that was what I think the general consensus, maybe in our earlier discussion, was that was a wrongful termination lawsuit. Is what it's turned out to be.
It's that, or I don't have it in front of me, but the newspaper did an excellent job describing what that was about.
Okay.
Okay. And
they wrote it that they read it from the actual. I didn't actually get sent the suit. I wasn't one of the 5 that was. interesting to me that they're suing individuals versus the whole board, but
Oh, I thought they were suing the whole board.
No, they're just suing the group of 5.
Just a group of 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Scott Simpson is not without controversy himself. Why did you vote to protect his job earlier this year?
Because I believe he's done an incredible job for the county. I have yet to hear a single accusation that panned out. Given to me, most of them had to do with animal control or solar. I mean, the biggest one, people keep saying he took money from the solar farm. And I might be out of turn here, just so folks know. In August of 2021, and I don't know the name of the company, applied for started the application process with the county to put a 4 megawatt solar installation on property that Scott's on and that he lives on. It's 40, 50 acres of solar farm will take up 25. And it went through the same public hearings and votes that everybody else did. Scott left the room. I wasn't on the board then, but he left. We don't normally ask landowners to leave the room. Scott's a landowner like everybody else. Why shouldn't he have the same possibilities, same rights? The board voted yes for it. Okay. And so when that happens, I know from all the other solar, and this is like there's like 22 of them in the county now. The landowner gets a lease option contract to decide. And all it says is, for the next 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, we're going to pay you once a year so that you don't rent this to somebody else. Because it takes a while to go through those steps to get a solar installations. And it was, I know that it was $2,500 a year, lease option. Okay. Same thing, something similar based on the number of acres that everybody else got. You know, we fill out every year a statement of economic interest, and he was accused of not putting that $2,500 a year on his statement of economic interest, and he did not. But the statement of economic interest, if you read it, it says if it's less than $5,000 a year, do not report it. Well, the last time I checked, $2,500 is less than $5,000. Okay, would it have been a good idea for Scott to put it just because of his position and the conversation? Maybe, you know, but it wasn't criminal. It wasn't a gift. It's a lease option. He's got a contract. That's the only money he's gotten from solar. But that's part of what's caused this whole. When you hear people, they're investigating his contribution from solar. There's his contribution from solar.
So. Is there any more to that as far as investigations?
I understand the investigation's ongoing. I have filled out 3 Freedom of Information requests from state police. They turned me down each time. I thought I sent a letter to the Henry County attorney, who supposedly that's been turned, Commonwealth attorney who's been turned over to, even when I was told I wasn't supposed to know that was secret. You know, I found that out on Facebook. So they're not doing a real good job of keeping it secret. But I wanted to know. I said, and either it wasn't answered. You know, I tried to find that letter today and I couldn't. So now I'm worried that I not hit send or something. You know, I certainly called down there and left a phone call for him to return my call. I haven't heard from him. I have since sent a letter to state representatives asking them to either for them to call directly the Commonwealth Attorney and the Virginia State Police, encouraging them to finish. I'm not telling them to find him innocent or guilty. I'm either indict or dismiss. I don't care what you do. Just it's been a year and a half.
So resolve it.
Resolve it. It's causing issues, you know. Or if they don't want to call directly, have the state attorney general call them, sort it out.
So do you think that these controversies have bearing on the group of 5's decision to terminate him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's part of why they were waiting. They were hoping they had a reason. You know, it cost us, most people don't know this, $177,000 to buy Scott's contract out.
I did hear about that actually. Yeah. Now, so and then, well, there was that big kerfuffle earlier this year where people had heard rumors that they were going to fire Scott Simpson, and a bunch of people came out to speak to the board in defense.
That was October of last year.
That was October of last year? I thought there was one that happened this year too.
No, I don't remember. We might have talked about one, but it wasn't. The big one was October of last year when a lot of people came out.
A lot of people came out. Oh, okay. So, I mean, it just seems like there's been a lot of a loop-de-loop around this, and are some of these dynamics part of the reason why this happened hastily? Like, do you think the group of five felt like they had to outmaneuver another group locally?
No, I think that they were. I think that the end result is they wanted to replace him with the pick of their choice, and they felt like they were running out of time when.
So Ms. Morgan was the pick of their choice.
Well, she's just interim.
Okay.
But they needed 3 or 4 months to pick one, to find a new one, before a new board is seated. So
that, right.
The urgency came about. We better do it now. We only got 4 months left
before the election. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Do you have anything else to add about this topic before we move on? Okay. All right. So you've mentioned workforce housing and recreation opportunities as high priorities. If you want to expand more on workforce housing, you can. I think you've spoken a lot about that topic, but especially recreational opportunities. Please tell us more. What do you see as being the big needs there?
Well, there's two. One big one. The big one is Evans Park. We were developing that for that purpose, and the strategic planning committee that got stopped in October last year had just put out a internet-based community input. What does the community want? That's a good idea, but we've done nothing for the past year because of all this, which is wrong. So I recently asked at the last meeting, and Mr. Clavin obliged and directed the 3 remaining members of the new committee they appointed. I said, don't wait for new members, just meet. You've already got a list. Resurrect that list you got from last year. Add or take away anything you want. We've already allocated money. Find a consultant. Create a master plan for Evans Park, because I don't want to see us, we want to put a pool, put it here. A plan. There's a lot of things we want to do that we can't afford to do all at once. Where's the fairgrounds going to do? Where's the ball field going to go? Where's the pool going to go? If we do all these things.
Right.
Create that master plan. Come up with that list. We can prioritize it. Somebody else can prioritize it. Or if Industry X moves in, or another big solar farm moves in and says, look, here's $1 million. Do what you want to with it. Maybe we can build I prefer an amphitheater. We really need something like that.
Right.
That's me. Just my wife probably looking for me. But anyway, the big thing is create the plan so that we can step through and create. Somebody said they want a swimming pool because I hate it when they bring race into it, but they said most of the Black Americans don't use these outline pools for the Rotary clubs, and they need a place to learn to swim. And there's some truth to that. I mean, the last drownings in the county, there were 3 Black Americans in a boat. Okay, I'm okay with that. Let's just do it. Let's do something for recreation, because while we might say it's for them, it's for the entire county. Or do we want to put my grandson's after me to put a skate park in, but I've said too much. Recreation. Let's have a plan.
No, you're fine.
An amphitheater and a pool is what I heard.
An amphitheater you mentioned. That was in Edmonds Park.
Amphitheater, pool, skate park, splash park, basketball courts,
some kind of recreation here.
And emphasize a little bit what we've already got going. We have a botanical gardens over there now. I didn't really know that until about 6 months ago. And it needs a little help. I'm trying to get the county to help, but it's pretty neat. They got a walking trail. It's not huge, but different trees. It identifies the tree, gives you a little story about it. They just got a grant they're trying to come up with an Indian village. They're working with the Okanichi folks and the Saponian to help them understand. They've already got all these native plants and stuff there. It's a start. So we just in the process of putting a pickleball court over there.
You mentioned that the strategic committee that is in charge of kind of making a master plan for all this, correct?
Right.
They were stopped in October. Why?
I can show you from text, Mr. Claiborne thought the committee was staffed by a group that was running the county covertly. He didn't think it was staffed by position. Okay, it started out they looked at, but they had like the county administrator, each of the town administrators, Dr. Adams, who was head of the Southern Education Center, and then that's the people that were doing this, which, you know, and they had a big, much broader than just Edmund Park, strategic for the community.
Right.
And he wanted to create another group to do it. Okay, so he did that. He named a group. We named a group. They hadn't met but once, you know. And
Which was like 2 days ago.
Well, no, they met once before that, right after.
So they met twice.
And then after my motion last meeting, yeah, they met again. And truth in lending, Ryland Clark called me and said, we need to do something. And I went, yes, you're right, Ryland. I will do my best to help you do that. And
so 3 chairs have been appointed to that committee. Do you know who they are?
I was only aware of 2, and that was Ryland and Dietrich Easley.
Okay.
And both of those are fine folks for doing that.
Okay, so maybe that can get reignited to
I think it has.
bring more proposals
I
to
think-
you. Because a young lady showed up at that last meeting.
So we hadn't met. What are we doing?
Exactly. That was
It's not
embarrassing.
a problem when a member of your committee shows up at a meeting and asks us what we're doing. But and that was Ryland had already talked to me. I had already decided to put it on to try to get it talked about. We did. Mr. Claiborne agreed. Thank goodness. We need to move. So it looks like that's happening. I know Ryland has told me they're looking for a consultant to create the master plan and put the blocks on the side.
For Edmonds Park or for everything?
For Edmonds Park, right?
Okay.
He wants to focus on Edmonds
On that
Park.
for now.
And
Gotcha.
And that's the other thing you mentioned. There are things to do in the county that we need to somehow get better at showing folks. You know, I mentioned, I know it's Edmonds Park with the botanical gardens. I was out at DIR today, took my grandson out there, or they took me, whichever way it was, to go-kart racing. Did you know you can do that? Did you know you can go out to DIR every day, Wednesday through Sunday, and they will rent you a go-kart and put you on a little racetrack and let you go at it.
Wonderful.
It's a great.
I think there's a lot of hidden gems like that in this county.
And we need to understand those and let people make a list. Maybe we ingest maybe we include the tourism center.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a section, not just people coming into the county, but let's have a list for people
who live here.
Already here. You know, what can we do? You know, and we have things. We do have, you know, we have football games, we have basketball games. We, you know, support the high school and while they don't have a pool, we have Stand River State Park. You know, there are some things to do, not as much as we want, but
I can work on that.
Let's work on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the part where you were going to ask about childcare. Did you want to still ask your question?
Didn't we cover that?
In the pre-interview.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that too, just that you know that we talked about there's been a study about the effects of it and how important it is in the county, and you know that's an issue, but I was going to ask what concrete moves can y'all make to help address the issue, just like we've asked about all the other issues.
Yeah, I know Brian Brown at the IDA was talking to some folks in Danville, not for them to do it, but to see if we could mirror a 501c3 here, and how do we make that child care affordable, you know, in the terms of, can we get industry to donate to it to help drive the cost down? Can we help provide location and or, reduction in utilities or whatever? Copy what they did to create, and who's going to do that? Like I said, we might have mentioned it, but even yourself.
Yeah, I think but location's a big issue with it because this is a huge county.
It is.
You know, so if you've got one in Halifax, somebody in Cluster Springs is not going to be able to take the 20 minutes to go drop the kid off, go back that way. It just, and then we have transportation issues as well.
And like the housing is probably going to need more than one. We just
right. Got to start somewhere.
Agree.
Yeah.
But I'm going to reemphasize child care, workforce housing, recreation. We need to do those things to try to help retain the population we have and hopefully bring some back.
Okay, you've alluded to transportation as a need locally, but did not elaborate. What do you feel Halifax County's transportation needs are?
I don't elaborate because I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I hate it when somebody says, this is a problem. What do you want to do about it?
Contact your strategic committee.
Years ago, people don't realize that there used to be a bus in Halifax County in the 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Was there?
Yeah, it was a bus ran around.
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped it because nobody was riding it.
Mm-hmm.
Had another car.
Mm-hmm.
And can we do that again? Is there some way, Greyhound doesn't even stop here anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Talking about from Danville.
That's right. Yeah.
So can we focus on local people getting to the industrial complex or something like that? Maybe there are other stops, but do we? Is that a regional transport, or is that a? Do we help somehow help Uber?
I was just going to say, I'm an Uber driver. I'd never get calls in South Boston ever. If I go to Danville, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. And so I don't have an answer. I don't even have a good idea. It's something we need to look at. And it's, can't be spread too thin, but that's probably going to be the next. I know there is. There's one of our volunteers at Good Samaritans, great young man, but he didn't have a car.
That's in that survey. That's another issue that comes up, is that it's a barrier to employment.
Right.
Childcare is, of course, a big one, and transportation's another one too.
Well, I've been told the local public transport doesn't run late enough in the evening.
Do we have local transport?
Yeah, the Heart Bus.
Oh yeah. But where does that go?
Well, and that's another thing. There are not enough stops. So I think the Heart Bus mostly focuses on the area like South Boston, Centerville, Halifax. I've been told they can go different places if you reserve, and it's convenient for them.
See, I didn't even know that was here. Is that run? Who's that run by?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I think a group of people kind of got together to put the funding together for it a few years ago, but I don't remember the details on that. Then later night, the later, you're right about the industrial park thing. There's not enough. There's not like a route that would go towards some of the job opportunities, but even social integration. So we talk about like community integration and community building, arts and entertainments. Kind of connected to your things to do idea. That some people rely on public transportation report that they don't have those social community integration access due to the lack of transportation options. So you've mentioned it and you're thinking about it, and it sounds like you need to do a little more research.
I don't have a good
strong opinions on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Recent Flashpoint events have highlighted how strained race relations are in Halifax County. How would you prioritize addressing this issue, or do you feel like it needs to be prioritized?
Well, I think we, and I don't want to blame either side, we make it into something it's not.
Okay.
The YMCA, I think it was forgive me, my mother and everybody else, two little old ladies who couldn't agree.
Okay.
And somebody decided to make it about race. I'm not going to comment on the recent sheriff incident. I know, because I know the individual, and I feel like he had a reason for his actions, and that's for the sheriff's department to sort out. But I don't think couldn't be even more convinced it's not about race with that individual. So I think we're making it about that. But so how do we move forward? There's a group of pastors, my pastor's one of them, that has formed a committee to call it Better Together.
Okay.
And the thought process is that if we worship together, maybe that's step one. And you make a really good point, because you ride around this county on Sunday and you see people, whether you're religious or not, but the folks going into the churches, the very people that we think we're trying to do better. But I look around in my own church and I see one African American, one Black American. I don't like to say African American. I'm not English American. I'm American.
Mm-hmm.
So one. And so anyway, Better Together, I'm using you guys, is going to have a service this Sunday, the 21st, Sunday, 6 o'clock at Dan River. And all it is they want all races to come together and worship together for an hour.
Okay.
And let's make that expand. And I think that's...
What church is that going to be at?
You
this Sunday?
It's really hard to hate somebody you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like your spouse or your child. You'd be really, really mad at them for something they did.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to get over it pretty quick, and you're not going to be mad at them forever. You're still going to love them. So if we know each other better as races, so Better Together is trying to start that.
Where is it going to be Sunday?
Dan River Baptist Church at 6 o'clock.
At 6 p.m.
6
So
p.m.
it's an evening service this coming Sunday.
I know one of the pastors is Gerald Jeffries.
Mm-hmm.
And if I say the other one, I'm gonna mess it up. But,
okay.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you don't feel like we have strained race relations in this county?
They're strained, but I think we're making it strained. I don't think those are...
Because I'm kind of feeling like the two incidences we mentioned, you're kind of minimizing what happened because...
Well, the events themselves weren't about race, but we made it about race, and I don't understand why.
Well, if I'm in a situation with someone and they say something to me and I perceive it and take it as something that hurts me, that needs to be the focus, not necessarily what they said to hurt me. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't, and I believe things were said to hurt people, but initially it had nothing to do with race.
Again, it's the perception. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't let myself watch the video because I didn't want to see it. So.
Again, it's and I did. Yeah, so it's.
Nor that I let myself watch it. I saw a snippet of the deputy video and that's it. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Because I'll have opinions.
Yeah. Well, and it's fine to have opinions, but what I'm trying to say is that I think, and you talk about coming together, we need to be more compassionate towards each other in our feelings and not minimize how someone else might feel. Like, yes, it was two old ladies, this, that, and the other, but that kind
of mean to minimize
it kind of minimizes their feelings.
Yeah, I was trying to minimize the race part of it. They would have had those feelings regardless of whether they were. I think that incident could have very well happened if they were both white or both black or both Hispanic. I don't think it.
Yeah, maybe so, but that wasn't the case. Yeah. So,
as in just because it was a case doesn't mean that either one of them was.
So the basic point that you're trying to make is that this was not inherently a racial matter, but it was contextualized as such. And who did that contextualizing, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I don't know. Just I guess social media. Oh Lord, our chairman will say, look at who's complaining and look at who's in the chair. What's he trying to say? And you'll see what the problem is.
So Mr. Claiborne is invoking race relations from during the meeting.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, about the whole board, us versus them, even though it doesn't really work because 2 of the 3 of the main ringleaders here are not Black Americans.
Right.
But
I was going to add something to that. Oh, the other thing. What are you calling this event again? Better Together?
Better Together.
Okay. First, I wanted to bring that part of it into it. The second part is, you said you don't care if someone's religious or not. Why can't we have events like this that are not part of church and religion?
I think we should.
A secular event.
But it's got to start somewhere. And the thought, 4 ministers got together and started it. So they're going to start it as a church thing. And you're exactly right. That ought to be my suggestion to Kermit, one of the leaders, is can we do a
secular?
I'm gonna say less religious, but
well, secular is just not religious.
I don't know. Have I? And so I'm just curious from your perspective. Let's say we did a hot dog ice cream social. Better Together wants everybody to get together and socialize.
That's one way to
do
kill
we
people
do
off.
it? Do we do it not on a church ground? So that, do we find a neutral, non-religious? Do we find a fire department to do
That would be a start. Yeah.
versus a church? Because some people won't come to a church because it's a church.
I would implode.
Trust me, you wouldn't.
Burst into flames. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for comfort level, yes, a neutral ground would be. Yeah.
Well, you make a really good point. Maybe that's something I need to.
For my comfort level, I would like no hot dogs. Anywhere close to.
You're not a Jesse Jones fan.
No. Well, I like to know what I'm eating. Like hot dogs are allowed to be what, like 0.5% hair.
You hadn't got old at that yet. You really don't.
And I would be more comfortable if it was a diverse crowd.
Oh yeah, that's the whole
Obviously, that's kind of the whole point of what you're talking about.
And hot dogs, I was thinking for me, but.
No, that was
And not just black and white, but reaching out to our Hispanic community, our Asian
You make a good
community.
point.
They're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're advocating for community forums that are non-religious.
I actually tried to set this up with
on race
Roland
relations.
at one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We called it an international fair.
Yeah.
You could bring somebody from every type of
I like that
community.
Name. I like that name better together. But
No,
Yeah.
that's a good name. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
and so I have to talk to see if we can get them help host it.
Maybe some Hispanic people could bring Hispanic
Yeah,
food.
we have
Maybe
Hispanic
some
section.
Asian
Yeah.
people could bring some Asian.
Yeah, maybe we appoint.
Yeah. There's quite a few different. There's
I hesitate
Arabs
to
that
have.
Hitachi.
I mean, yeah. I hate even labeling food one way or the other, but you got to do something.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying somehow to promote the diversity because you would have religious, non-religious, maybe Muslim people there. A lot of people don't even understand what the Muslim religion is.
I spent a lot of time in their country, so.
Did you? Well, and that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, it is.
But my point is just the diversity of it all.
Bad, let's put it that way.
Because the bottom line is that we're all human beings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We all have our faults.
And we would be better together.
Yeah, we're better together.
Yeah.
We all have our faults.
Completely
We all
agree
have
with
our
that.
shortcomings.
Yeah.
Well, this is a more of an action-oriented plan than what other people have said.
Absolutely.
Like, this is the first time. We asked this question a lot, and this is the first time we've gotten like a concrete answer of something.
Or something actually already planned.
Well, let me emphasize. I did not start Better Together. I just participated.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm a huge proponent of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Lord forgive me, Kermit forgive me if he reads this. My pastor, I like the idea of it being. Let's just socialize.
Yeah.
Let's just there's some good pastors. Don't get me wrong, but and Gerald too. He's your friend. I'm not knocking you either, brother. But I like that idea. So I need to go to them and see if we can plan something somewhere.
Cool.
Okay.
Edmonds Park.
Near the botanicals.
Okay, so Linda Shepherd made this big long Facebook post, and I'm not going to read it, but
I don't think I did read it.
It was in reference to now there is would we call it an emergency meeting or
It's a called meeting.
yeah, so there's a called meeting for September 22nd. It'll be the second meeting for the Board of Supervisors this month. That the usual meeting place at 6 p.m. What is this called meeting about? That's happening this coming Monday.
Then we didn't already talk about that. They're coming.
We did in the pre-interview.
Okay.
It was a very long
So,
pre-interview. It was an overly long pre-interview.
My understanding, and I got this from a fellow board member that published anything, is that there are 18 resumes, and they're expecting us to go through them
Resumes for what?
for county administrator.
Okay.
They're expecting us to go through them and pick 3 or 4 to interview with, which I am in objection to. I wrote a letter today to the chairman expressing my objections and what I would like to see happen. Don't object unless you've got
A counter
a
proposal.
proposal.
Mm-hmm.
We were advised by our attorney and BACO to hire someone like Berkeley Group, who they specialize in this, give the resumes to them, let them do in a very apolitical,
Mm-hmm.
non, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bias.
Non-biased way, go
Mhm.
through. We'll give them the criteria. Just take the criteria from the job announcement. Let them sort them based on that criteria. Let them rate them,
Mhm.
and then come back to us with 3 or 4 tops. And we could interview them. I'd really like to have them interview them and let them rank them 1 to 3. Because if we, the board, whether it's 3 members from the personnel committee, who we talked about the committee assignments being off, or the whole board does it. Either way, we all know there's going to be political biases in there, so let them do it.
So there's
the second is if we're going to do it, at least give the supervisors or somebody come up with a list of objectives, gradable. And I've done this before, and a grading criteria, and let us take the time to go through each resume and grade them. Let's not rush this. This is not.
So it seems like a rush job to you.
Yeah, and the third thing is what I really like to see them do: delay this and let the new board, which we know there's going to be at least one new member, let them handle it and have it ready. Go ahead and rate them if you want, but let them make the decision in January because that board is going to have full 2 years. This board, if we seat one, is going to have one for I don't know, month or two.
When is Miss Morgan's contract up?
December.
Okay.
So this is to replace just the county administrator, not the finance director.
Correct.
So Ms. Morgan would still be the finance director
Correct.
until someone else could be replaced.
Correct.
And then maybe she would make less money.
She would, based on the contract, she would make $7,000 less a month.
If so, does that include if you guys replace this person before December?
Well, we owe her for the entire month
Of December?
of whatever month she's working in, and we owe her 30 days. By the contract. I'm just reading the contract. So if she quit today, what day is it?
She would get a prorated amount.
She would get still another 30 days. She'd get the full month of September and half of
if she quit today.
Yeah.
And didn't come into work anymore. So at the end. So in other words, is the goal to try to replace both positions by the end of December?
I think that's what.
Is that somebody's goal?
Somebody's goal.
Okay. Now what's happening Monday? We might need to slow down and break it down for the audience a little bit. Is that there is a meeting that's called with all of you. There's a good chance that a good portion of this meeting will go into closed session. Is that true?
If not all, correct.
If not, the whole meeting would be in closed session. And whether it's in closed session or not, the meat and potatoes of that meeting is for you guys to take 18 applications for the new county administrator and whittle it down to 3 to 4.
That's what I was told.
And you're saying that you don't feel that there's enough time to do that on Monday, and you haven't been given the resumes yet, I assume?
Haven't been told. They didn't want us to see the resumes because they're afraid they'll leak out, which I agree. No, but they shouldn't be leaked out.
Yeah.
Until we're done. But we'd also, we don't have any type of that I'm aware of. There's no judicious plan. There's no list of criteria we're going to grade them against. I mean, I've seen them do this with other committee appointments. They're just going to go, I like this one, well, I like that one. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't.
So there's no evaluation rubric or no criteria to measure. Yeah.
Evaluation rubric.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's no.
Not that I am aware of.
There's no assessment test. Okay.
So
you guys are just going to be chit chatting, or?
I guess if there was, we should have all. Well, unfortunately, he's right. If there was an evaluation criteria or rubric, I say that right. Anyway, then we should have had a part in developing that.
Oh, so maybe someone has already developed a checklist or a criteria rubric, and they haven't shared that with you either.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll turn up to the meeting.
Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
And it'll be very well organized, and it'll all go efficiently. But in your opinion, is that this feels rushed? It feels like you need more time and an actual plan of action to go through all these 18 resumes, whereas it feels like the majority faction in the board has decided not to go through a consulting firm, not to go with the VACO recommendations, and just kind of, I don't know, make up the process as they go? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay. And you disapprove of that?
I do.
Okay, so more of a plan and more time to work through the resumes.
My strongest desire is that we let another group do it, and that's the only way that I can even take my own bias out of it.
So go through a consulting firm.
Yeah, let them do it.
Do what VACO recommends.
We don't have a large
HR department.
So yeah, and it's going to cost us $10,000 or $15,000 to do that. But I'd rather spend that money now than we turn around in January, don't like the guy, and we spend another $150,000 getting rid of him.
Right.
Is there any way to find out after the meeting what happened? Like when it comes out of closed
We're
session?
supposed to, if any decision was made, we're supposed to tell you.
Well,
We wouldn't
would
tell-
you
we
guys
might-
actually vote to make it one of the people, or to extend a hiring offer? Would you guys actually vote for that Monday night
No, I doubt
closed
that.
session?
I certainly hope not. I'm hoping that it's still rushed, but I'm understand that the most that would happen is this: we would announce that we're going to hold interviews, and there's been 3 or 4 or 5 selected for interview.
Right.
Okay. So that's the short list you expect to be announced.
Well, I don't think they'll
maybe
announce who,
Monday.
nor should they announce who, but
Right.
And
just
then,
at the fact that that's going to,
and you think they're trying to get the next one hired by October's meeting,
or maybe just before the election.
before the turnover,
Yeah.
or the potential turnover. Okay. Did you have any questions before we ask the boilerplate? Okay. So the last thing that we ask people is there anything that you want our audience to know that we haven't covered yet?
Wow. Well, I already stomped on Better Together.
Okay.
That was my ending piece.
Okay. Well, you can repeat it.
And I'll repeat, the 3 things that we need to focus on and input to as we talked about childcare, recreation, and housing.
And it's good for us to get insight on the inner workings.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And there's,
I
and we should be
appreciate
talking
your
about-
candor. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll no telling how much trouble. That might be why this phone's buzzing, but no, they know I'm talking about it. But no, that's probably from that letter I sent earlier today. But we should be. There's not, and I mean I get it if it's going to impact like the resumes. We shouldn't tell you who they are. But we should tell you what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have a meeting with a blank. We're just going to meet. Why shouldn't we say we're going to meet to review resumes for the county administrator? What's wrong with that?
Right. Very simple, easy peasy.
Yep.
And it's within legal limits.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bright. Is that the thought you wanted to know, or anything else?
Yes. Better
Okay.
Together Sunday, 21.
We appreciate your time.
Dan River Baptist Church, 6 p.m.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate you, Mr. Smart.